This episode of Kind of Funny Gamescast is brought to you by Movement Watches. Movement Watches was founded on the belief that style shouldn't break the bank. It's a good belief. Movement Watches started just $95 at a department store. You're looking at $400 to $500. They figured out that by selling online, they're able to cut out the middleman and the retail markup, providing the best possible price. We're talking classic design, quality construction, styled minimalism. Greg Miller looks awesome in his red and black watch, and you too can look sexy with a whole bunch of different color combos. Get 15% off today with free shipping and free returns by going to movementwatches.com/kinda. That's MVMTwatches.com/kinda. Join the movement. Best catch line ever, like always. What's up, guys? Welcome to the first ever episode 111 of the Kind of Funny Gamescast. As always, I'm Tim Gettys, joined by the coolest dudes in video games, Colin Moriarty and Greg Miller. And joining us for the very first time on this show in this studio.
In the studio, yeah.
Lola the dog.
Oh, Lola,
what's
the
her
Boston
proper
Terrier.
name?
Lolita,
but like, does she have a last name, or is it like a Prince situation?
Sorry. I need a microphone. I've never done a podcast. Lolita Bavenzi. Well, because she's Aaron's dog. But no, just Lola, Little Lo.
Little Lo.
Loli.
Now, when you inevitably marry Aaron, will the dog take your name as well?
Be Bavenzi Moriarty. Hyphenate it like a feminist.
There you go. This episode of Gamescast brought to you by our Patreon producer, Salem. Got him all, got him.
There he is. Yep.
He's a good dude. He's been supporting the show, making it happen for the last couple weeks, if not months. I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. You can also support us, just like he did, over at patreon.com/kindoffunnygames, which is where you'll get the show early. But if you want to get it late, you can get it on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. If you get it early, though, there's other perks and goodies and all that type of stuff. I'd advise to do that.
Wouldn't the real feminist angle be not to take the name at all?
No, my best. Well, I don't want to use his name, I guess. But one of my best friends growing up, Eric, his mom. I was always confused because his mom was Mrs. Klein, but that was not his last name, and I was always confused about it. That was the ultimate feminist move. But I think the middling feminist move is more hyphenating your name, not giving up your name, and then obviously the kind of old school thing would just be to take the man's name.
Right.
But she's already born, so she wouldn't, and she's not marrying. I'm not.
Well,
marrying
you could
Lola.
adopt her though.
Oh, that's right. Her name wouldn't change.
I've seen the videos going around though when the new dad adopts the older kid.
Yeah.
And they're already 18. Doesn't matter.
Got it.
I don't know if they take his name too though.
I think it's case by case. I would change my name if it just sounded better.
Well,
At this point, Tim Gettys, I'm kind of sold on.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I wasn't sold on it. I was like, this isn't a name.
Yeah.
Like my friend Ryan Frias, I was like, that's a fucking cool ass name. And I was like, you're gonna go somewhere.
Oh, okay.
And then he went somewhere.
When
He's
you
doing
inevitably
this
marry Gia, are you going to take her name?
No, Tim Harris is some bullshit name.
Tim Gettys dash or hyphen Harris.
No, that's just convoluted.
Is she gonna hyphen her last
Why
name
would
for
I
you?
put a dash in my name when I don't need to?
You love
No,
Gia?
no, that's a Nick_Scarpino move if I ever saw one, and I'm not down with that. I ain't down with that at all. But if she had a dope ass name, I'd probably consider
Think about it.
taking
You think about it.
Well, it's this whole thing. I'm verified on Twitter now. If you change your name, you're not verified anymore.
Good point.
These are the real issues.
These are the real issues right now. Yeah, that's a good point. Didn't think that through.
This episode of Gamescast is actually brought to you by a very special thing. That is our PAX East adventure where we got to play Prey. And when I say we, I mean you and Nick.
Yeah, Nick and I are gonna play.
We're recording this
Wednesday before we go
yeah.
to PAX East.
So during this weekend, we're gonna play play Prey, and then after next week, when you watch this, for the majority of you on Tuesday, there will be a Kind of Funny Reacts going up on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames of you guys talking about.
I'm excited to finally pick up the sticks because he did a Let's Play for Prey where he went and saw it and played it, and it looked awesome. But I wasn't sold on Prey. You know what I mean? I didn't know what I was getting into. Colin, of course, we saw Prey 2 years and years ago. Prey 2 looked great. Then it just disappeared off the face of the earth. Then they redo this Prey. I don't know what I'm getting into. See the trailer. I'm like, meh. Then I watch it in the context of Let's Play. I was like, okay, now I'm in.
Now you're sold?
Yeah.
So we're not sponsored by Prey. We are sponsored by Amazon. So you can pre-order Prey and other Bethesda titles at Amazon, where Twitch Prime gives you 20% off all pre-order games, free in-game loot, and a free monthly Twitch subscription, which you can use on us. So you can just help us in a million different ways.
Yeah.
Anyway, check out the reacts. I assume it's going to be good.
That's me and Nick. What could go wrong?
Yeah, that'll be good. How you guys
Nick
been?
and I guess.
What's been going on?
I've been good. I'm playing a lot of games, a lot of Zelda. Yeah.
A lot of Zelda.
I'll tell you what, the biggest problem now is that I get new tunics. I do anything else, I got to go re-dye everything because I got the dye going. I put it out on day one when the embargo was up that I looked like Robin. Had the green top, had the red Hylian hood, cape, looked like little Damian Wayne, loved it. And then when I ran into being able to dye stuff, I was like, well, fuck. Going in there, I wanted to look like Superman, of course, but with a hood, so whatever. Went in there, I was like, you can dye it all one color. That's convoluted. I don't like that as much. I won't spend the rupees on it. Bounce out, go away. Then, like one day I'm in the Uber to work, lightning bolt, stroke of genius. Wait a second. I'll just mix and match what I want, dye the whole outfit, do it that way. So now I'm rocking this whole blue outfit with the red hood and stuff there. And it's blown in the wind as a cape.
Yeah, I saw your pictures.
Yeah, it's
I
fucking
liked
awesome.
I liked it a lot. Every time you say Damian Wayne,
Yeah. Batman.
always, I think you're talking about Damon Wayne.
Oh, Damon
One
Wayans.
of the Wayans brothers.
Yeah. Damon Wayans. How can we forget Damon Wayans?
And it throws me off.
Sure.
I'm like, it's weird that you're trying to dress like him.
Well, he also had a style, I think.
No, he did.
Yeah.
But like, it'd be a weird thing for Link
It
to
would be
dress
a
like.
weird thing for me to try to make look
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Damon
But
Wayans.
then I'm like, all right, I guess this makes
Sure.
a bit more sense.
Colin, where do you come down on a living color?
Oh, it's great. I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a big fan when I was a kid. Jim Carrey
Yeah.
got to start there. Yeah, it was that was a great show.
Yeah.
Very counterculture
Sure.
kind of Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
For young people.
Speaking of dressing things up, I need to keep bringing attention.
Oh, there it
to
is.
this.
Your Switch.
Finally debuted on screen. My blue Switch. Blue on blue. The only way to
Kinda
actually
Funny
go.
blue.
Yeah, kind of funny blue. The way that Nintendo should have sold it instead of the weird ass thing. But I have to say, I now kind of appreciate it because it gives me a little bit of individuality.
Oh, sure.
You know, I was
yeah.
able to kind of claim this, and I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other people out there doing it.
Yeah.
Our good friend Rich George, he did as well. So it's like I get it. There's people out there doing it, but a lot of people associate this with me. And
of blue.
I'll take that credit.
You love the blue.
You know?
Yeah.
So if they sold the blue, everyone would have blues. But now mine's like, we were on the plane yesterday. It was me, Altano, and Scoville.
Yeah.
We went down to do a fucking badass IGN project, by the way. It's going to come out end of March. I can't wait for you to see it. We ride dune buggies. Me and Nick ride dune buggies with them while playing Ghost Recon Wildlands. And it was a fucking shit show.
I bet. That
There
doesn't
was
sound like
sand.
an easy
There
way.
was sand everywhere.
That doesn't sound like a good way to play. And it's so coarse.
It is coarse.
It's
It got everywhere.
Right.
But no, it was super fun. But anyway, we're on the plane. We're all playing with our Switches, and it was a magical moment. I was like,
Well,
I
coming
fucking
home
love this.
from
But
work-
mine was the prettiest. by
Coming home
far.
from work the other day, didn't any of them have the colors or were they all gray?
They had gray.
Gotcha. Coming home from work yesterday, I glanced over at the Muni train, saw a guy right up front playing with the Switch. Very proud of him. However, holding it up here, not like comfortably holding it in front of his face, arms resting on nothing. And
Maybe
then-
he was using the motion controls of
Better
the
not be.
era.
Don't do that. That's not how you play this game. And then he had the red and the blue, and I was like, "Ooh, that's a bad look, bro. You gotta even that out. Get one of the colors. Balance this bitch.
Yeah.
I can't deal with the imbalance. You know what I'm talking about?
I know exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about. Colin, I want to hear what you're talking about. Zelda. Me and Greg, we've played a shit ton of it. We both haven't beat it yet.
Right.
We will be getting into our further impressions because you guys have heard it in our various reacts and stuff. What are your impressions? You've been playing for a little bit. The people
You want
want
me
to
to take
know.
Big Wolf?
Yeah, can you just put it down? She's just clickety clacking all over the place and driving me fucking crazy. So I've only played for a couple hours. I got my Switch. Amazon kind of fucked that up, and so I got it on Saturday. I messed around with it just a little bit on Saturday. I platinumed Horizon, and then I've been playing Wildlands. So, I haven't played it too much. My honest impression of it is after just a couple of hours, I'm still in that opening area. I'm kind of just getting lost.
You're not on the
running
plateau,
yeah. I think it's really pretty. I think it's very atmospheric. I think it's interesting. A lot of things to do in it. Having just played Horizon, I know people are gonna take umbrage with this. Oh well, I don't see what it does better than Horizon, but it doesn't feel as good. It doesn't look as good. But I'm still so nascent in the game, still so early that I don't really have a full fair impression of the game. But that's kind of the reason why I haven't played it more. Is I'm like I just got off of this amazing gameplay experience with Horizon. That seemed very 21st century and very new and very fresh and very fast and arcadey and rewarding. And then I was playing this game and I'm like, it's a little slower. It's a little more heady and that's all great. But on a gameplay level, I was just like, nothing about it was pulling me in. So I've been saving it and I'm, when I have more time, because I'm kind of more distracted by Wildlands and stuff like that. But it's cool. It's nice. I tweeted out that it was nice to see Nintendo learn something from Western development and kind of do their own thing with it. And it's a very, that's the thing where I feel like they're getting the Nintendo bump with this game. And I don't know that, I don't know, maybe it turns into this revolutionary game, but it's what I've been reading a lot about it and reading people's impressions and the things that people like. And it seems like they're doing things that have been done in open world games for many years. So I think it's just people are kind of happy that Nintendo made a really great open world game. And I like the lineage back to the original Zelda as well, because I really love that game. So yeah, not too many thoughts on it, but that's my impression so far. I'm anxious to go back and very intrigued by the game. But playing those two games back to back, I'm obviously going to compare them. I think a lot of people are.
No, we did it in our reacts when we played a bunch of it and jumped in there. I think the one thing, and I commented in the review for Horizon for the Horizon review that I thought they did so well was discovery and exploration. And I feel that that's what this game does even better than Horizon, who did it so well in the way of last night playing, and I'm just going to go to this shrine, or I'm just going to go, I see up in the tower over there, I'm going to go to the tower, I'm going to sync the map and see what's up. But on the way there, seeing something over there, like, what the fuck is that? And going over there, suddenly I'm in the desert, there's a new race of people, there's all these different things. Whereas I was trying to think about this last night, because we've had a conversation, obviously, about this, where that's how you felt about it. And for me, it is the fact that I think in Horizon, there's different machine types you'll find. There's obviously a couple big twists to it. I feel like this is better with the Zelda is better with the smaller surprises of going over there and then who the fuck is this enemy type? Oh my god, I'm clearing all these guys. I'm like, I've done this a million times, no big deal. And then this giant guy comes down. The first stone dude I run into, I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then the reward he gives, and still, you know, I don't know how many hours I'm into it now. Definitely more than 10. But I don't. We had this discussion of if the save actually.
I thought the save thing was giving you a time clock, but it was actually just what time it was.
Just time it was, yeah.
Which sucks.
Super. So I'm well into the game, but like just last night, you know, which is off the beaten path. Like I told you when I ran into that with the blue flame, you're like, oh my god, that's a story quest that I just got to, but I'm shortcutting to it because I'm just wandering around finding stuff, completing that, getting new things on the Sheikah slate, completing the Sheikah slate, so to speak, and then upgrading certain. I was like, holy shit, I didn't even know I could do any of this. I didn't know that was coming. And that's an awesome feeling of like, fuck, I really don't know what's going to happen next.
Yeah, so I mean, you've played, I think I've played a bit more than you, but we've played both a lot of it. And
Yep.
I am so much farther than you are in terms of like the main actual quests are concerned. And it's just crazy because like you were farther than me in other ways. And like you were way more developed than I am in terms of probably like the skill set and like armor and shit like that.
Yeah. That's my thing is I don't know if it's possible. I need to get the best equipment possible before I want to go on any of this stuff. I hate this shit breaking all the time. I have no idea how to. The Master Sword's got to be in there. I'm not like if somebody's worried about spoilers or something. Like, I assume the Master Sword is in there. I didn't look into it.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is. I want to fucking find that thing. I'm sure it'll be a story thing. But I'm hoping I can I'll run into somebody who gives me a quest who does this that leads me that way and I'll get it.
Yeah.
But even last night, like playing through again and like, you know, I'm way off the beaten path or the main quest with the, you know, the yellow things. I've ignored all those and I'm just off doing something. And another giant, you know, these giant dudes. And it's what we talked about in the review, right? Of like, me just getting my teeth kicked in over and over again, but I'm getting closer every time to beating. It was like 3 of the electrical blob guys, and then it was like 3 of the bigger dudes with like giant armor. And there was one who's just one hitting me every time. I just couldn't get around him. And so coming up with a plan to take him down, and then finally take him down, and mainly because I had seen his shield was like made of iron. And it had the Triforce. It turned out to be like, you know, a guard's shield or whatever.
Yeah.
But to finally get him down and pick it up and be like, yeah, that's a level 40 shield or whatever, 40 points or whatever to my 32 or whatever I had in the arsenal. I was like, that was worth it. And I finally got there in the end.
Yeah. No, it's cool. Want to say I'm like 30 hours in, and I'm a little less than 2/3 done with the game based on what the main quest and story beats of what they've presented so far, and who the fuck knows if there's some crazy twist coming that I don't know. But man, I'm having such a great time with it, and I appreciate playing it coming right off of Horizon, because Horizon is one of the best games that I've played in the last like 5 years, and then so is Zelda, and I love that both of them. I was worried playing Horizon that it was going to ruin both Horizon and Zelda for me, like they were going to ruin each other, because I wanted something that each one wasn't. And in the beginning, I kind of felt that about Horizon. And also playing Zelda, I did feel it in the plateau area. Like for the first 3 to 4 hours, I was like, this is great. Like I immediately thought it was great, but this isn't like fucking blowing my mind. And then it started blowing my mind in the same way that Horizon, once I hit a certain story point, I'm like, I'm really sold on this. Like the story is very intriguing to me. The characters are great. And I feel like they kind of complement each other really well in that they both achieve what they are trying to do.
Sure.
At such a masterclass level, where Zelda's story is, Zelda's story's never been good, ever. I do think this is one of the best Zelda stories. I care about a lot of the characters they introduce in the moment, not in the overall, like there's character development and all this. It's just, I like the kind of scenario. And it's cool to me too that Zelda is unique in that everything's a spoiler. And I don't even want to say anything because I don't want people to feel slighted, because they don't want to go into this if they haven't played already. They just want to go in and not know anything about it. And it reminds me of Star Wars in that way, of like Episode 7 and even Rogue One. Like going into that, it was very just like, yo, do not even talk about this. And it's different than any other property where it's like no one wants to be spoiled, but you can kind of get away with a lot more stuff. People want to media blackout this. And seeing the characters as they come, like I saw the trailer at the Nintendo presentations, what really sold me on Breath of the Wild. Up until then, every time I've played it, I was like, it's great, but it's just Zelda. It's another Twilight Princess. It's another Skyward Sword. But then watching that trailer, I'm like, I'm fucking hyped. And now playing through it, I'm like, this is totally different story-wise than I thought the trailer was alluding to. And I enjoy that all of the, okay, I don't even want to say that. I enjoy that it's standalone. I enjoy that, like, just this, you don't need to know all of Zelda's history to appreciate the characters that it puts forth. And you don't need to know how the Gorons compare to other Gorons. Like, these Gorons are interesting.
You need to know.
You don't.
I'm kidding around. I don't know. I haven't gotten to those. I think I've seen one other Goron in this game so far.
Yeah, I feel like the world building of this Hyrule is great. But again, that's not story. And Horizon had a great story, and Horizon's action is way tighter and a lot more fun. But Zelda's puzzles and shrines and dungeons and physics-based stuff is on another level. It's so amazing, and I think that they both complement each other very nicely.
And I mean, this goes back to what we talked about in the review, the Reacts review, whatever, review in progress we were talking about, is the fact that I was hesitant going into Zelda right after Horizon. The fact, well, I just had this awesome open world game to jump into another one. What's it going to be like? And the fact that they're not open world in the same way, and where the objectives and what you're doing seem so drastically different, and the gameplay is so different. And Zelda is, can I fucking climb that wall? Am I going to make it? Look through what you have? Like, I'm going to fucking try it, and maybe I can get up there. And if I get there, I should be able to stand up in that last second where you're like, oh my God, how you made it, or you don't make it, or whatever, and jumping down. And like, so what you're talking about, where I'm ignoring the story in the main quest. Like, I'm running into characters, obviously I'm talking to different people, I'm doing little quests here and there, but I've been off the main quest for a while, just trying to go through and get everything, or seeing a shrine and letting that lead me where it leads me.
And that's going to help you when you play the main quest, because talking to all those people, it's going to give you a lot of advantage in terms of knowing how to handle the situation, because it is difficult in a different way when you do just like kind of main quest it, where there's a lot more questions of, fuck, what am I supposed to do? And it's all there. All the hints are there for you to figure it out. Yeah. But I'm sure that you're going to get to things and be like, oh, that's where I get the armor that I need to, safely traverse these areas or whatever. Since our last review, I've probably played double what I played last time. And I was worried that, because I hit the first major story plot point, like thing that was different than the rest of the game in the first review. And I was like, holy shit, there's a moment in this that I'm like, I am so sold. This just took this whole game up a notch. Yeah. And then when you get to the other moments like that, I was like worried that it was going to get a little samey because it's a pretty predictable kind of like format of this is going to happen and then this and then that, which rewards you with this. Yeah. But so far, I've came across two more of those types of scenarios, and each one's been handled differently and came at a completely different time than I expected. I thought that the pacing was going to be a bit more predictable than it was. Yeah. And I think a lot of it has to do with it's so easy to get distracted by shrines or weapons or like little fucking monster hideouts or whatever.
Well, I mean, that's the thing too. Like, you sit there and I spend 10 minutes running my head into the wall to clear out this area of enemies that are high level so I can get to that treasure chest. And you get up there and okay, it's just opal or whatever. But like, it was that is the game of clearing that thing out to get up there and do that. And that's awesome. Yeah. Question for you. Are you playing with the HUD off? This has been that big movement on Twitter lately.
I keep the HUD on.
You can go in there and you turn HUD and go HUD to pro, which just leaves your hearts up there. And then your stamina when it's time for your stamina. So then you don't have you don't have the mini map. The shrine thing will pop up if you're getting close to shrines or whatever, but it'll go away.
I have this game, it's not perfect. There's definitely some issues with it. I don't like how the shrine thing functions. Yeah. Like, it's never clear to me. Like, I know, okay, there's a shrine near me. The beeping gets more rapid as you get near stuff. I feel like that thing's never helped me find a shrine.
I agree with that.
I always see it
If
before.
anything, it's the notification that there's a shrine near you, so like take a glance around.
But the near, it's a pretty
I know.
big
I agree
thing.
with you. I'm with you. But usually it'll start going off when I'm clearly moving towards it. I'm like, all right, guys, I got this.
I enjoy how the towers work differently than like Ubisoft open world games, where those towers, like the Ubi towers, people call them, like you go up there, it unlocks the map, and it shows you all the different things you can do. Right. Whereas Zelda's, you just get up there and all it does is unlock the terrain that you're dealing with. Right. You still need to locate and pinpoint
drop your pins,
the stuff. And someone on Twitter said this, I forgot who it was, but they're like, I've never used binoculars in a game more. 100%. And that is so true. And it's never like, oh, I don't want to do this. It's always like I think I see a glowing red in the distance. Is that a shrine or is that lava? And then you like,
what
click
is
it
that
and you're
thing?
like,
Just
there
what is
you
that
go.
thing up there?
Yeah.
And, like, and that's the thing too of like where it's like I get up there and I've set all my waypoints where I was on the main quest or whatever, where I was last time, and now I'm so far away from it. I have like 2 left. I'm like, fuck.
Yeah.
Start clearing those out. Exactly. I'm
Exactly.
over here. I want to at least remember where this shit is. I've started using stamps on the map too of like, can't do this or I'm not going back to it. So I'm taking its thing, but I'll put a stamp here to remember to go back and try to find whatever the hell it was at the time.
Yeah. I don't like the lack of music in the game. Like I feel like
Don't you like it then when it chimes in though?
But that's my thing is like I hate the lack of music because I want there to be more, and I really identify with, especially with Zelda, something that's very Zelda to me is every area has its own theme. And I miss not having that. But then when you get to areas that do have their own theme, they just feel that much more important because the world is so big. So it's like, that's like a double-edged thing where it's like, I mean that as a compliment to them, but I also wish that there was a bit more because it's beautiful music. It's awesome. But then, yeah, when the boss fights happen, they're that much more epic because there is epic music playing from silence.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anything else?
The more I play it, the more I love it. You know what I mean? Like it is that game now that I think slowly, Horizon was all encompassing as well, right? Where I wanted to play it nonstop and get every trophy and do all these different things, and like I was drawn to it and I loved it and I do love it. And this is the one where it's like always just a level below on my mind, and I don't know how much that does that. The Switch is always with me. It's always there. Tomorrow's our flights to PAX. I can't fucking wait
So
to just
stoked.
sit there and play. You know what I mean? I was booking trips to Edmonton or whatever, and like I'm there. I'm like, well, I got a layover. I can try to shorten. You know what? No, long layover's fine. I'll be fine up there doing this. Like. It is one of those weird games that I'm playing, and like I even though I'm not doing the main quest and I have no idea how close the end I'm like, oh man, I hope it doesn't end. Like, you know what I mean? Like I just like that it keeps going, and I like that it's just doing everything it's doing because it's so weird in the way that like, yeah, I'm not invested like I normally would be for the story. I am invested for the Link I'm building, right? The outfits I'm building, the arsenal I'm building, what's out there to find next. Will I be able to find everything? But you didn't talk about it in this one. We've talked about it before, but I thought it was fun to, the way you were talking today about how yesterday you, Brian, and Max were talking about the game, and how when we went to dinner with Rich the other night, we were talking to him about the game. And it is back to that, like, this is like how we used to talk about games on the playground. You know what I mean? When there wasn't like, did you get this trophy? Did you hit this part? Where are you with this? It is like, have you seen, I don't want to spoil it, but have you done this kind of thing? No, I didn't. Or you do, like, you hadn't done horses yet, which is fucking crazy. Did you do horses yet?
No, I'm still not fucking with
Jesus
horses.
Christ. Well, you can run.
Last time I was saying I wasn't fucking with cooking. I fuck with cooking now. But so here's the thing: cooking makes the game a lot easier, and
Sure.
and it's part of the gameplay, especially with the stamina system and all that. But a big issue I have with the game is cooking's not fun. And I do wish that they took a cue from a lot of modern RPGs where there is the kind of like
Fast forward.
or like just the fucking like, here's my ingredients, give me the best
Automated
shit.
shit,
Button,
yeah.
like some automated thing. Like Final Fantasy 15 did a great job of, there's all these recipes and you can cook and do all this shit, but you don't have to. You couldn't just do the thing.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
going to be like, based on what you have, you should probably do this.
It'd be cool if you could say, yeah, I want to focus on stamina. I want to focus on defense.
Exactly,
Build me
because
up that way.
it's clear archetypes. You know what you're trying to cook. So like, just give us that.
Also, if I'm not incorrect, right? There's nowhere in any of the compendium or anywhere on the Sheikah slate that tells me like, all right, cool, you've made X and Y before. Here's how to make it again. I have to have it in my thing, click on it, and then say recipe.
Oh,
Correct?
I don't know. There's just something that pops up that says like, to see the recipe, do something. I don't know where that is.
I think it's to click on it if you have it, and it's not like, again, it's not like it's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, I got whatever the endurance mushroom they're calling it is, and I'm gonna put it with a piece of meat, and I know I'll have more stamina and stuff. But I'm with you that it is. I like cooking fine, but I think it's kind of funny where like you can skip it, right, and that saves you maybe a tenth of a second. It seems like, I'm just like, just play out or whatever. But it is the thing of like it doesn't get in the way. It's cute. It's fun. Whatever. I do it in giant batches where I'm like, oh, a fire in the pot or whatever. I'll sit here and make all the crap I have or whatever. But it is that thing of like, last night I did a shrine, saw the little horse place down there, went down there, did it, but I knew right over there was something cool. Like I already binoculared it, and I was like, fuck, all right, just cook all this shit fine. Then this dog started making eyes at me. The dog was
Fucking
super
dogs.
excited. This dog stands up, Call. Pink aura around his face, looking at me. I'm like, all right, cool. So I walk over there. And the dog, I noticed too late that it was after the last thing I cooked, Pink Aura. He stood up. He was paying attention. Before he was just sleeping there. You know how dogs like to sleep, Cole. He stands up, Pink Aura. I'm like, Pink Aura goes away. He's still standing there. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to give him something. So I turned over to him, and I'm like, cool. Went through, grabbed, of course, I was out of meat now. I grabbed something else. And I went to toss it at him, but instead I threw my sword at his face. And then he got real mad at me, and he ran away, and he barked for a while. I was like, fuck, I ruined this relationship with this dog.
Zelda.
Yeah, Zelda. That's Zelda for you.
That really is. No, I love it. I love it so much. I have said this before, and I'm gonna say it again. I think this is gonna be one of those games people look back on and speak about the way they do Mario 64 or Final Fantasy 7 or Metal Gear Solid. Like these are, or Halo. Like definitive game that it really is going to be. I remember where I was when I played this.
You mentioned, wasn't you said earlier about the Galaxy comparison, right?
Yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. This game reminds me of what Mario Galaxy did to the Mario series, where it's like you thought it couldn't get better than Mario 64, like or Sunshine. But like in terms of like that, where it's like that really did take. I mean, all right, there was Mario, and then it went to Mario World, and like those, there's a clear lineage there that makes total sense. Like Mario World is just a way more polished NES Mario game, and then Zelda is the same thing. You go from Zelda 1 to Link to the Past. It's like, okay, cool. There's a very clear lineage there, but then you turn it 3D. Mario 64, Zelda Ocarina of Time. I think what Galaxy did, which was, all right, what does Mario, like what's the fundamental thing about what makes a Mario game? It's jumping. It's the physics of jumping and getting around. And Galaxy was like, well, what if we changed the gravity of that? And that fundamentally changed how the levels were designed, how the scope of the game was, all that stuff. And it was really just like, damn, they really evolved Mario. And I think Breath of the Wild is Zelda evolved. It answered the question, like, what is Zelda actually about? Like, what makes it a real Zelda game? Not the music, not the characters, not the, the Triforce or whatever. It's it's about exploring, it's about puzzle solving, and it's about
dungeons and quotes.
Dungeons and all that stuff. And this, to me, Breath of the Wild is the evolved Ocarina of Time.
Sure. That's a great way to put it. Every one of the shrines, man. Even the one you hated, I liked.
That one fucking sucked. We'll do a spoiler cast eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah, 4 years from now.
Yeah, exactly. I have a feeling I'm going to beat it in the next week.
Okay, bold claim.
Especially with 2
6-hour flights.
Yeah, I think I'm getting close there.
Okay, Godspeed to you.
All right, topic 2. Besides Zelda, Greg.
Yeah.
And Colin. What games have you been playing?
Colin, you lead off. You were quiet.
Playing Towerfall Ascension.
Are you playing that with Aaron?
Yeah, it's fun. It's it's old. So.
Yeah, well, we've done tons of Let's Plays, but are you playing co-op or are you playing competitive?
Both.
Nice. How's co-op? I've never done Towerfall co-op.
Co-op's fun. It's difficult.
Yeah.
It scales, I think so. Yeah, that's a good game. I mean, I like that game a lot around the time PS4 came out. I think it came out early 2014. And what else? Well, Horizon I platinumed, and then Wildlands I played for maybe 5 hours or something like that. And otherwise, not too much. Apart from that, and then Zelda. So yeah, I've just been kind of jumping around from thing to thing. Oh, I played Nier for like a half an hour and I just deleted it. I was like,
really?
Yeah.
Nier Automata, really? Oh wow.
Yeah, I played it for about a half an hour. I mean, this is not for me.
Oh man.
And I deleted it. I don't have time to like waste on this shit anymore. There's too many games. If it's not going to speak to me, I'm not going to do this whole like in 4 hours. It's good. I'm like, all right. Well, I know it's like a 90 on Metacritic, but it just wasn't for me. But when I jumped into Wildlands, it really spoke to me a lot more.
Really? Wildlands speaking to you?
A lot more.
Okay.
I think so, yeah.
Before we jump off Nier, I just want to say I fucking love Nier. I haven't got to play the retail version yet because of Zelda, and I think it might be a while. I hate that 2017's been so awesome with so many good games because like I don't know when I'm gonna get to Nier, but like that is a game that I got to make time for eventually because that speaks to me. It's super cool, super fun, and stylish, and over the top like anime shit in the cool way, not in the dramatic bullshit way.
Sure.
So stoked to get back to that. But okay, Wildlands. What'd you think?
I think it's cool. I really liked The Division a lot, and I feel like this game's obviously in a similar vein. Obviously, it's an Ubisoft game, different team, and different IP. I like it. I think that the production value is really high. I like that the storytelling in the game I think is really cool. It's a very deep kind of. It's very gamey in the sense that it's a deep criminal tree that you're kind of trying to dissect in the game, and they introduce everyone, and there's a lot of actual like if you want to find it, there's a lot, or go through it, there's a lot of exposition in the game about what you're doing and who these people are and why they matter to this drug organization, this narco state basically. And so you can see like the kind of you're getting rid of lieutenants and working your way up and whatnot. I think that's pretty cool. The gameplay I find not as satisfying as The Division. I don't think it's as single player friendly as The Division was, and I think that's disappointing because what they were saying about the games were pretty opposite. Where The Division, they were very tepid about the idea that you can play it by yourself, and I think it was way more playable solo than they let on. And then I think with this game, they let on very early that you can play it by yourself, and I don't think it's as playable by yourself as they let on. So
you don't? Is it that you don't like having those AI squad members? With
yeah,
you?
the squad members are annoying. I just don't feel like the gunplay is even as good. I don't feel like I just there's so much to do on the maps and stuff like that. I don't know. I just don't find it as satisfying to play as The Division, which I dumped about 40 hours into. I really liked The Division a lot. And I like Wildlands a lot too, because I like the idea of running around this narco state and kind of collapsing their little drug empire. I think it's fun. The leveling up system is really interesting. There's a lot to find and do, which I think is cool. So it's a game I'm engaged with and I'll continue with until we get Mass Effect probably. I don't know that I'll play much more of it than what, past this weekend or whatever, when I have, my time is waning or whatever with it.
Sure.
So, but I agree with you. There's too many games. And that's the thing is, like, when I played Nier, I was looking forward to Nier. I downloaded it very quickly. And I just, I spent half an hour. I was just like, I just don't want to play this. And I got it. This is the time. It's not August or something or July. It's like there's too many other things to play. I got to move on. So yeah, I like shooters and it's speaking to me in that level. So we'll see how long it goes. But I think that people that play it with other friends, and I've gotten a lot of feedback saying that it's not worth playing without people. But I also got that feedback with The Division, and I think The Division was fine by itself. So, so that's my very kind of early impressions of the game.
Yeah, Kevin and I did 6 hours with Wildlands here. We were playing with subs, so every hour we switched in 2 different subs. And I echo Colin to an extent. Like, I mean, that was my thing playing. I was like, no, this is not as good as The Division. Like, I really loved The Division. I loved our Let's Play we went and did of it and stuff. And that gameplay's still there. That goofiness is still there. But I feel like the game is almost so grounded and so like, all right, cool, it's this military thing, we're doing this thing, we're out there for this operation, that where there's no, not excitement to it, but there's no pomp and circumstance to it. Where The Division, yeah, all right, we're fighting cleaners who are guys walking around fucking flame throwing everything, and there's Joe Farrow over here screaming in his New York accent. There's all these different things that are really cool about it. Whereas this one, it is, all right, cool, there's this thing of bad guys go in there and kill them. Now, the one caveat to what we're saying is the fact that Kevin and I jumped right in. We're like, troubleshooting, skipping through. I skipped through the main cinematic, which we had seen for all intents and purposes there. Like, I knew, I get the idea of it. So I'm not locked into the world. It wasn't your traditional, I think, what you normally think of with a multiplayer where you're going to play for like Division. I'll play for a little bit by myself and then, okay, it opens up and now I can start getting people in there. We jumped in and we're going from the get-go. And so it was just samey over and over. There were cool parts and different missions. Like I really do like the idea of, all right, this is the kingpin of this area. We don't know anything about him or her. Okay, you go in, you get intel. That gives you more stuff and starts revealing closer and closer who the person is and how to go get that person. That's a cool idea. Some of those missions are cool. Like I think I might have been when we took down one of the kingpins in the area or whatever, where we went down into basically like Kevin and I and the group went down into an area and like they were doing they were torturing people down there. There's torsos and heads and every shit. Breach the door, go in, kill them before they get the Gatling gun. That was a really fun mission that stands out. But the rest were, for me personally, I felt like, all right, cool, there's this giant thing in there. We're going to hack the guy's computer. Or we're going to do this. And so you kind of approach it all from the same. Whereas Division, sure, is all in New York, but the variety of the people you're facing, I felt, made it all feel different. Like going from area to area, unless you disagree, Kev, like on the map in Wildlands, I didn't feel like I'm getting a new kind of a new person I'm fighting. It's just another drug lord gang, somebody who doesn't wear a shirt.
Hey, I think for me the issue was that like I had no context. Like I was just whoever was joining us would kind of take control and be like, oh, let's go here. And so I looking at the map every once in a while, I'd be like, how the hell are we in like the bottom if we were up here? So it just seemed all like But I mean, I enjoyed the gameplay.
Yeah,
of it.
you enjoyed the gameplay a lot, right?
Yeah. Where the Division, I didn't enjoy as much, but I think that was because I like automatically like I was playing with people that are much higher levels than me on the Division. Yeah. And every single time I would shoot people, it would do nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
So it was like, it was just really frustrating that way, and I didn't feel that with Wildlands.
Wildlands, yeah. Yeah, Wildlands is exactly what Colin's talking about though, where it's just like, oof, you came out at the wrong time. You know what I mean? Of like, yeah, I was like, when we did E3 with it, we were super high on it. When we did the Let's Play, we were super high on it. But now to actually be living in what March is like, man, sorry. And like one of the reasons I did, Nick made a joke of like, because we didn't do the morning show this week because we're going to PAX. You guys were in LA on Tuesday, and I was supposed to be off on another adventure somewhere else making videos on Tuesday and Wednesday. And so when my thing fell through, and I was like, all right, cool. Tuesday I'm just here. And it's like, all right, well, let's do this. Nick made a joke like, oh man, if I had a day off, I wouldn't like do this. I'm like, well, not to knock Wildlands even further or anything, but I'm like, I'd rather play Zelda, but I know that I enjoy Wildlands, and I know that I like playing with the kids, and like this is the shot. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna go to PAX and I'm gonna come back, and theoretically Mass Effect should be dropping there, and then that all of a sudden really does push Zelda to, all right, you are the handheld game. When I can't be with a console, I'm playing you until I get through Mass Effect, till I get through this, and it's like that was my window for Wildlands. And I wonder, as we talked about on PS I Love You and stuff, if that's the same story, that For Honor's seen and all these different games that are coming out but like
For Honor seems to be selling better than they expected it to. I saw some story today talking about how like with numbers and shit. I was like, oh shit, like I'm surprised by that.
There's a dedicated community to it.
It did come out at a little bit before the
insanity
storm,
really hit.
Yesterday, when we were doing the Wildlands thing, ironically, I guess we were talking about this. I was with Altano in the car, and he made a joke that was so funny. He was like, somebody needs to just be a homie to Ubisoft and just buy them a calendar with game releases on. Just be like, hey, avoid this. And he's like, but then the irony of it is it'd be impossible to avoid other Ubisoft games.
Sure.
Because there's just so many of them. But yeah, man, it's interesting with Wildlands, because what I played of it, I had a great time. It is a bit open and too much for me in terms of like what I'd look for in a shooter. Like what you're talking about, like it turns me off because I like tight single player shooter campaigns. And
you like it tighter, right?
I'd like it real tight.
A lot of kids jumped in the chat, and when they were watching us play, like, oh, this is giving me SOCOM vibes. And I'm like, oh, that's a great way to put it, and probably why I'm turned off a bit by it. Because I respect SOCOM, don't get me wrong, and I tried to play it back in the day and stuff. But it is that thing of like, it's cool, we're taking helicopters up and jumping out and parachuting and being stupid idiots. But it is a game that is meant to be played more precisely.
Yeah,
it is
like
all
that
right.
E3 trailer.
Exactly. Where you are like, I'm trying to sync shots and like I hit X and a tutorial popped up and everybody's got their shot and I didn't. It's just like, all right. And it is that thing of like, all right, we're going in, and then somebody else, they know we're here now. And I was like, fuck. And then the unit ads are rolling in. They're coming in with their little fucking triangles. It's a whole thing.
The shot syncing thing.
Yeah.
Has that been in other games? Like, is that like a common?
I mean, for multiplayer stuff, I wouldn't be the guy to ask.
Yeah,
I would think SOCOM must have had something like that.
Such a cool thing.
Sure.
Like, it makes you feel like a fucking badass. Like when we did in the Let's Play, I was like, this is a really cool function that this game has.
Yeah. So yeah, Wildlands is cool, but that'll probably be the only time I do anything with it.
So moving on from Wildlands.
Yeah.
What else have you been playing, Greg?
This is like the most fucking limp thing to say, but like Persona 5. And it's limp because you know how much I love Persona 5. Persona 5 got to us the day before Horizon got to us, and then when Horizon was clear, Switch and Zelda hit. So it's like when the review lifted, I was over on Kotaku, our friend over there, Jason Shire, talking about it or whatever, and he's like, I'm 46 or 3 hours in. I'm like, fuck, I spent a night with it, so I'm like 3 hours in. So any Persona fans know that is, I'm not even vaguely through the tutorial, right? Like I've gone to the first thing. Morgana the cat is with us now. Like I got, you know what I mean? Like I got my Teddy.
You did it.
Exactly. Game over, right? But like that's happening. I understand it. I like where it's going. Like Persona 5 is living up to what I wanted out of Persona 5. Stylish, super fucking awesome. You know what I mean? The game I don't want to spoil anything, obviously. The game opens in a very interesting way in terms of like how they're telling you the story and how this is going to go. I love the setting, this whole idea that you're thieves, you're there to steal hearts, you're putting on your little mask and crawling and stuff. I'm excited to see my character progress that way. I was worried, and still am to an extent, but not really, about it being too samey to Persona 4. You know what I mean? Like all the Persona games are pretty much right. Like, I'm the new kid in the town. Oh, all this fun crazy shit's happening. They merged nice things in there, whereas, like Persona 4, of course, was the TV world you went into. This one, this is through your phone. Like, I like that a lot. I like the idea of how it changes the world around you. Again, it's one of those, it's so early you can't tell. The cast seems cool, but your first friend who you meet in this game, who's going to be obviously in your party and everything else. I'm like, all right, cool. You give me Yosuke vibes, but you're not Yosuke. That's fine. The guy you're living with is a complete dick, but I'm like, You're a complete dick right now, but you're not, like, even Dojima came around. I know you're going to come around.
Dojima.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
God
but like,
Dojima.
It's like, I got you. Dojima, whatever. Nanako's dad. I got what you're throwing down here, but like, you're not as immediately like, oh, he's just a tough guy. Like, I mean, you kind of suck, but let's see if you come around. You just throw me up in an attic, you can go fuck yourself. Great style to it. Beautiful. I like when I'm playing the gameplay, but again, like I think I've got my first Persona, right? And I don't even think I know how to use it in quotes. The character knows how to use it, but anime cutscenes are great. Like it's, I want to get back to it, but it's not the Wildlands situation, but it is in terms of how things are hitting, right? Like when the fuck am I going to sit down and put 43 hours like Kotaku does into this game? Where are they going to find that time?
Do you think that Persona 4 being on Vita kind of made that game for you, and like could that limit how much you put?
Oh yeah, I mean that's a thing with every huge game, right? Like that's what we're talking about leading up to the release of the Switch or the announcement of the Switch. I'm like, I know it won't happen, but if they came out and they said Mass Effect Andromeda is going to be on this Switch day and date. I'm like, well, I'm playing it there. I love trophies, but I love the convenience and portability, and as much as we travel, that it's going to be with me anywhere I go. And so that was, I played, Persona 3 back in the day on PS2, so I'm used to sitting there, but again, times have changed, and there's too many fucking games out right now. There's too much happening. I'm going to obviously play through Persona 5, but I get that game, and I'm like, holy shit, like we have code really early for this preview. I'm gonna get so deep into it and be able to, be wet, and it didn't happen. And so now it's like, fuck, like how realistically, how far am I gonna get? And that sucks, but it's the nature of the beast, I guess.
Nature of the beast.
When you got them shrines to get.
Mm-hmm.
Got these horses to name. Got a whole fucking new galaxy to put the human race into in a little while. I'm gonna be fucking every alien up there, Colin. I gotta proliferate the human race. You know what I'm talking about.
It's none of my business.
Just want to fuck a Zora. I can't.
You don't know?
I don't know.
You
Maybe you can.
beat the game
Who the
yet.
hell knows what happens? All right. Topic 3. I want to talk about them Nindies. If you don't know what Nindies are, call the Nintendo Indies.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Clever playing words.
Hey, honestly, I want to give a shout out to that showcase.
Yeah.
So first off, they're calling them showcases, not directs. I'm interested to see if they're getting rid of direct overall as a brand.
Yeah.
And if they are just kind of focusing to presentation or showcase and like one-off stuff. I'm so happy because this was what I wanted the presentation to be in terms of it's just a dude dropping trailers, making announcements, hella games.
Yep.
They're coming. Here's a whole rollout of these are 60 plus games coming out in 2017. And this dude, Damon Baker, the head of partner management and licensing at Nintendo, seems to be a really good dude, seems to give a fuck, reminds me a lot of the Gio Corsi, Adam Boyes type.
He needs hockey jerseys.
Dude, he does. But I like how out there he is and how many interviews he's doing and dropping little things here and there. And it seems like he really does care about being a face for this, but not so much as like a popularity thing, but more of like no, it's important to know that Nintendo cares about this stuff and is going to address them correctly. I loved it. I thought that they showed so many games that I'm interested in actually playing. What I wanted to do was read a quote from him from an interview he had that kind of answers a lot of questions, and then go through the 17 games that they showed at the conference and kind of talk about, or not conference, the showcase, and talk about where they've been before and what they're doing differently on Switch. He says, what we got here is we've identified a bunch of those developers that we think taps into what resonates really well with the Nintendo audience in particular and showcasing why that content fits so well on Nintendo Switch specifically. The way we're looking at Switch is this is a complementary platform. If it's on Steam, then there's no reason why it shouldn't be on the Nintendo Switch as well. If you want to take that experience on the go, if you want to have a baked-in multiplayer experience, this is the system to do it. It's got those points of differentiation, but we're not trying to go head-to-head against any of the other platforms. We just think that if the content makes sense to be on our platform, then it should be on our platform. We haven't opened the floodgates yet. We're just really taking an approach with the launch window to make sure that the content really resonates with fans. We're not saying no to content that only uses the touchscreen or doesn't use the Joy-Con in a unique way, but at the same time, we're trying to encourage those developers to have a conversation with them and say, look, fans are probably expecting these types of fun features and functionality in the game, so maybe they should consider them and take a look into what it would take to implement that technology into the game if it makes sense for that type of experience. In another interview, he talked about how there's going to be weekly releases on the eShop, and we were trying to figure out if there's an actual every Tuesday or whatever.
Yeah.
We don't know that, but somebody, if you do know, tweet at me, let me know. But that's exciting to me, especially when there is 60 games and we know that they're this year, and some of them already started coming out. So before we even get into the games, what's the gut check on that?
Awesome. I've been talking to people about it. I went to the Nindies event. And actually, Kevin, how easy is it if I turned over my Nindies footage to you? Do you want to play it on the little thing for the 3 games I thought were awesome? Is that possible?
Yep.
All right, cool. It's on my desk. It's the hard drive we capture everything on.
Okay.
Right, because it's the hard drive off the thing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
All right, cool.
Wait, do you want audio?
No, we don't need audio. Don't worry about it. Just put on the TV
Super
down there.
easy,
It'll be perfect. Great. It's great. I mean, like I went, it was weird because I was going downtown, I think, to the Nindies event, which I don't get me wrong, it's cute, but I hate saying it, Nindies. I'm not a fan of saying it, Colin.
It's dumb.
Going down there, it was all happening. So I was watching on the Twitter, the announcements or stuff, and it was like, Overcooked, great. And then it was like, it's all happening. So I was like, fuck, like what's going on really? And to get there and go into the event and see all these different games there running and walk around and be like, man, that looks awesome. This looks cool. That looks great. I can see myself playing that. I was like, this is nice. And it's honestly, it's fun because what they've done is I really feel like strapped a bomb to their chest where they're like, we can't fail like the Vita failed. The Vita gets lauded, right, because people are still supporting it, indies, what your Japanese third parties, stuff like that or whatever. However, they can't do what Sony did to fucking crush the Vita, which is pull first party support. This is the Nintendo console. So, okay, you're getting your Nintendo games on it for the next 5-6 years, whatever it's going to be. And now on top of that, if they keep dedicated to this, you're going to have all this indie blood there that keeps it going and keeps people playing and keeps our types involved. Obviously not mainstream Joe Gamers going to necessarily jump in to play Timbleweed or whatever it is, Tumbleweed. But people who have the Switch, want to play with it and want to do more with it, it'll be there.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I think it's about expectations of what people think the hardware is going to sell. I think it's somewhat clear that Switch is not going to sell these extraordinary numbers. So the idea is like, if your expectation is that you're going to have an ecosystem of ultimately 15 million units or whatever, 20 million units, and people can make money on that, well, the proof's already in the pudding with Vita. And so for the indies, and I do think that there's a compelling reason to own a Switch. I bought one. For the 2 or 3 first party games a year that you might get, that might be interesting to you. So I think it's good to have a groundswell of this kind of support. I mean, this isn't necessarily new for Nintendo. WiiWare was actually a pretty interesting. Our friend Dan Edelman helped craft WiiWare, and there was some interesting stuff going on there as well. So it's not like Nintendo hasn't been playing in the space for a long time, but this is the kind they're going to, because they don't have third party support of really any consequence at all. They're going to need to rely on smaller developers to be able to make money. But I've also heard that there's a lot of independent developers that are not happy with Nintendo at all. And have that on fairly good authority.
Yeah, I heard that too.
So there's a certain, it basically seems to be like a club where certain people are allowed in and everyone else is not allowed in.
Yeah.
And
Well, certain people allowed in. I'm happy with it.
And so I know of and heard stories from different independent, different independent developers that are super infuriated with Nintendo.
I heard it was wonky contracts, right?
Yeah, like I don't know.
Yeah, we shouldn't go that deep into it, but I heard it was wonky contracts.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think it's pretty clear based on what he was saying in that quote and the 17 games that they actually showed in the showcase versus the rest of them they just put on the little logo screen. Where those 17 games, they all include some type of here's the Switch news about it. Like, it has HD Rumble, or it has new multiplayer, or it's going to be exclusive to the Switch. So I think that, a lot of those contracts and stuff might not have been able to get those things, and they probably didn't want to be or they wanted to be in the showcase, and there's so much shit that goes on.
Yeah, I mean, from Nintendo's point of view, it makes sense what they're doing, and the fact of the matter is there really isn't going to be a reason to own a Switch after Zelda until probably Mario, and unless you're a Splatoon fan, but obviously, Splatoon didn't push millions and millions of Wii U's, so I don't expect it's going to do it to the Switch. So if you want to have a Switch, or you bought one for Zelda and you're waiting for Mario like I am, after that, then you're going to have some games to play, and I think that's great. And some of them are old, and some of them are new, and some of them are going to be concurrently released, which I think is great. I think Nintendo's doing the best it can do. I just think it also shows an inherent weakness because instead of having your big AAA games like Sony or Microsoft would have their Halo or their Horizon or whatever, and then be surrounded by third-party games of great consequence, and then those will be surrounded by a great independent scene, and then a bunch of trash as well. Nintendo just has their first few party games, no third-party support, and then the indies. And I think that not having that buffer is really going to injure them. And I think this is the best thing they can possibly do to prove that there'll be something to play on the console. But again, you're not buying a Switch for SteamWorld Dig 2 or whatever, or whatever the fuck it's called. So it's an interesting game. But so this is. I really feel like this isn't going to sell units, but for people that are buying them, they're going to certainly feel
make them happy,
like they have something to do. And I do think that a lot of these games will lend themselves to portability as well. Yeah. So I think that that's a positive thing.
I think their third pillar is Virtual Console whenever it does eventually come
Whenever
out.
they finally announce it. No, it's going to be interesting to see what this does and what the feedback on Switch is in a few months right now. Because I think right now it is positive. I love mine, you know what I mean? And I love Zelda, obviously. But it is a machine I want to play on the go as my handheld. So when I went here and I played these different games, and do you have the list of the names? Because I can never remember all the clear names.
Yes, I do.
This is what? The giant, beautiful explosions or whatever the hell it is.
Graceful explosion machine.
Graceful explosion machine. You can skip around here, Kev. Obviously it's a shmup, but they're calling it more of an action-y thing. They stayed away from shmup, but it's like, it is like a pixel shooter or whatever, but getting in there and playing this and having these different weapons and only certain weapons work on different enemies, I'm like, I can see me playing this for sure. I can totally see me having this in my bag. And again, when I'm at an airport and I have beaten Zelda and I don't want to play any more Mario Kart, this will be one of the games I jump into and stuff. And similarly, you had it up earlier, Kevin.
So this is timed exclusive.
Okay.
Coming in April.
Sure, coming in April. If you can jump over at Mr. Shifty. Like, Mr. Shifty was the fucking game, man. Like, I walked over, I'm like, oh, I hadn't seen the presentation. So I was like, oh, it's Hotline Miami. And then I watched it, I'm like, oh, it's Hotline Miami if you're Nightcrawler. And so, like, there was a person in front of me who was playing it like Hotline Miami a bit and getting killed. And they passed me the controller. And it was just jump in there, fucking punch the hell out of all these different people, jump back through the wall, do all these different things. Kev, can you jump ahead to some more action rather than exposition here? But you go in there and you can take weapons with you, and like there's one where you jump in, you get a trident, you warp through the wall, you throw it through 3 guys at once and impale them all on the wall. Like, that's for sure. Like, this, I mean, I loved Hotline Miami 2. I thought the environments were too big. This is a nice spin on that exact thing, right? Because it was the same thing. If I'd walk in, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna shoot. Oh, that was a glass window. They shot me through the window. I didn't realize that was a possibility. And it's you feel more powerful in here of like Nightcrawler, of jumping through, punching the hell out of these different people, doing all these different things. And that's for sure when I want to play. And I was like, what other platforms is it coming on? And they're like, PC. I'm like, oh, well, thank you very much. At least it's coming on something. I'll have something with a controller or something to play. Yeah,
so it's a top-down action game, makes good use of the Joy-Con's HD rumble, and it's going to launch as a Switch timed exclusive in April.
Yeah, again, that'll still be when I'm carrying my Switch around. Hopefully, if it's before card, it'll be when I'm like, I want to play something other than Zelda. What can I do on this? And I thought this was a great one.
And what was the last one you played?
I can never get it right. Tumbleweed, Tumbleseed.
Yeah,
this one I watched from afar before I went over to it, and I was like, ugh, here comes this piece of shit. Because it looks like, if you're not watching at home right now, ladies and gentlemen, it's a line across the screen. You're a seed in the middle of it, and then the line goes up and down as you crawl this mountain. It looks like you're basically, imagine if you were tilting the Switch or Joy-Cons back and forth to do it like as a motion game. Like, no fucking way. And then whenever there's no, and they're like, no, it's not motions. It uses the sticks. It is about, push your right stick up, bring your left one down, do all these different things to move up. And what you're doing is, again, if you can't see it, you're going up this mountain. You need to roll your seed, your character, back and forth across it, but dodge enemies and dodge holes in the ground. And as you go, like, you can change what kind of seed you are. So you can go, as you go, you plant crystals, and for every 4 you do, you get a crystal, or maybe you get a crystal instantaneously. I forget now. And you can spend that to upgrade your things, to do this, to make more thorns, to do these different things. There are no checkpoints. You have a checkpoint seed, so as you go, plant the checkpoint seed, but it costs it costs like gems or crystals to do it. So it's this balancing act of, first off, balancing as you go up, but also like, what is the appropriate thing to use here? It's one of those games that I would play and I was like, oh man, this is cool. Strikes me as, for Greg Miller, maybe a bit too frustrating. I can see me getting really mad at this game really quickly. But again, it was like, I like the idea. That's cool.
Do you know if this is exclusive or
I forget now. It's been a while. Not on there.
Yeah, I don't have any notes on that.
I can look it up for you.
I don't think they're out there.
Oh, I'll find it.
Okay, fine.
Greg Miller, don't worry.
You might be right. Cool. So the other ones, and these were all games that were playable there, right?
Well, I mean, it depends on
the 17.
You go through and I'll tell you if I saw it there or not.
Gotcha. Cool. Okay. Started off with SteamWorld Dig 2.
That was there.
Franchise started on 3DS, then pretty much went everywhere. You were big into SteamWorld Dig, right?
Yeah, great. I love SteamWorld Dig. It's a great game. If it's not for everyone, I mean, there's a lot of games like that. If you're into just wasting your time, basically, I mean, that's what the game is. And I don't mean that as a pejorative way, but it's just like dig, grab as many things as you can, go sell it, buy new equipment, dig. But I mean, if you're into that kind of cycle, I that speaks to me every once in a while. So I got lost with that game on Vita. I never played they have a full-fledged sequel. I guess it's the SteamWorld
Heist
or something like that. Yeah, I didn't play it. That was supposed to be really good as well, but I liked the first one a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Tumbleseed Spring on Switch, also slated for at some point Mac, PC, and PS4.
Gotcha. Ukulele. It's coming out April 11th on all the platforms except for the Switch. Still no date on it. It could be April 11th, but that's looking a little unlikely. At this point, the Wii U version was canceled for the Switch version to be made.
What are your feelings on ukulele?
Ukulele, I mean, I've said this before, I'm not a banjo guy. Yeah. So I'm very happy that we're getting another N64 styled retro game, and this is the first of hopefully a couple others. I do hope that this means we get a Mario 64 style spiritual successor from some random people that are just inspired by it. I'm excited to give it a shot, but honestly, I'm not expecting too much from it. Yeah. But I will be playing it on the Switch. These are the type of games that I'm like, cool,
that fits for an
available
platform.
everywhere. I want to play it on this. Sure. Shovel Knight, stoked that I'm going to play the new campaign on the Switch. I love that the cross save, cross play is just built into it. you know, for
yeah.
these type of games. So that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, Nick did a ukulele Let's Play for us. Not up yet. We did a whole bunch of Let's Plays during GDC week, and it was one of the ones where he went and played it and then showed it to me. And it starts off where I was like, meh. And then when he got into later levels, like, oh, okay, no, this looks like it'd be fun. This seems like it'd be cool. I don't know how much I'll invest in it or what if I'm really going to get caught up in that game because I'm not craving a rare-like game in that vein.
I'm interested to see the reviews it gets.
Yeah.
I think that will kind of shift me towards being like, all right, I'm really going to give this a shot or I'll play for a little bit because that is the type of game that I know what the first couple hours are going to play like.
Sure.
I don't know what the later couple hours are going to be. So if it's worth the investment, then I will invest. Otherwise, I'm happy it's happening.
Yeah.
You know, like I didn't support the Kickstarter. You know, if it was something more up my vein, I would have.
Yeah.
You know,
if there would have been a Crash Kickstarter, you'd be all
exactly.
over it. Yeah.
Right. Overcooked Special Edition.
Fuck yeah.
All the DLC plus more right at home on this system, especially with the multiplayer and all that.
Yeah,
that's
the interesting part
cool.
of being able to play it on the go wherever you are.
Yeah, I mean, so I keep talking about like similar things, but for me, the Switch, I'm stoked about it for its retro style platformer games, and then also like the Shovel Knights and ukuleles and things like that, but then also just the multiplayer, local multiplayer. So while we have our Mario Karts and games like that, and Smash Bros inevitably, and you know the Nintendo core multiplayer games, it's awesome that we're getting things like Jackbox Party Pack and Overcooked and whatever. So we can at PAX have a thing where we all bring our Switches and play multiplayer games. It's like me and Kevin had a fun moment last week where we were waiting for you guys to come do something, and he was like, "Oh man, we should play some Snipper Clips." And he was like, "Oh, we can go set it up in there." I'm like, "We don't need to set it up in there.
Right.
You just pop these things off at my desk and play." Like, it's pretty cool.
That was
we
the
didn't
fun
actually
moment?
do it.
Oh, you didn't actually. Oh, the fun moment was thinking you could have fun together. I appreciate that. I like that a lot.
Fuck that. I got things to do. Escapist 2. It's coming everywhere on to all consoles or whatever. But you guys did a Escapist Let's Play of Escapist 1.
It feels like years ago. Yeah.
I think it was.
I do. And IGN, and I think I did one for Escapist even. And then, I think we might have done one here. I don't remember if it actually happened or if Colin played it or what.
It did. Nick was in it.
Nick was? I think it was Colin and Nick then. That was always a game I saw. I'm like, all right, that like, Escapist Walking Dead. I'm like, all right, that sounds like something I do, but I don't know. Do you remember playing Escapist? The Escape from Prison
I
one?
remember what it looks like, but I don't know that I played it.
Yeah.
Next up is Goner. It's a procedurally generated score-based platformer with roguelike elements launching first on Switch with exclusive content later this year.
I didn't see that one. I don't know that one.
Then Dandara. Don't know how to pronounce that. It's a platformer launching with exclusive features and functionality, including HD Rumble support. It features a gravity-bent world. It's essentially Metroid Galaxy. So it's like a Metroidvania game, but you can fuck with the gravity and like go on walls and shit, which is cool because then it's like that is a genre that I feel like really could benefit from that type of change up. You know, We'll see.
I'm trying to find anything about Dandara. I'm not familiar with this one.
Kingdom 2 Crowns. It's a cool pixel art game. The pixel art looks like Panda Musk style.
Oh, I like
pixel
Panda
art,
Musk.
like the Game Over Grady show theme song and stuff like that. It's a new iteration of Kingdom New Lands on Steam. Kingdom 2 Crowns will launch with a new co-op mode on the Switch.
So yeah, steal this Vita game. Just take all these PC games I never fucking played and bring them over here.
Runner 3. It's the latest bit trip runner exclusive to Switch.
Okay.
Which is a big deal in that scene.
Well, those games are so good. They're so much fun. I was recently fucking around with the collection or whatever. I think they call it Bit Trip Collection is what they called it. Probably not something like that on Vita on a flight. And I was like, yeah, these are good.
Blaster Master Zero. It's already out.
Yeah,
you can get it now. It's the first Blaster Master since the Wii one in 2010. Exclusive to Switch and 3DS. It's NES throwback style, like Mega Man 9 style, where it's like it actually looks like an NES game.
Are you gonna play that one?
2-player mode already out.
No, I have a code, but I haven't played it yet.
Yeah.
I haven't played it either. I downloaded it.
I haven't downloaded it yet.
I love Blaster
Zelda.
Master from the NES.
Yeah.
That reminds me when you brought up the WiiWare. That was interesting because there was some really great games and interesting games and big games for what that was, like Wario, Smooth Move,
World of Goo and stuff like that. Yeah, but
there was a Wario platform game.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But yeah, Wii was pretty experimental, but it never committed, you know. And then on Wii U was even less, and 3DS, like there was definitely games like Steam World Dig and stuff like that would pop through. But to me, this is them like committing to it, and I like that they know that they're playing catch up to something like the Vita, and it's good that this gives me confidence, unlike their AAA calendar, where I'm like, cool. Going forward, they're gonna get the cool games on Vita when they come out, in addition to these. Flipping Death Is
Oh,
the
this
next
one I saw. The line, I never got into the line, but I watched. It looks cool, and the folks I was talking about it there liked it. Give it the pitch.
It's a half puzzle, half adventure game. It's cool animated art style. It kind of looks like the Leica movies, like Box Trolls and Kubo and Two Strings and that type of stuff. Very like funny Tim Schafer-esque writing. And I didn't play it, obviously. I wasn't there, but I saw the trailer for it. I'm like, it looks cool. Not my type of game.
Sure. Yeah, that was my take on it too. I'm like, I'm glad people are enjoying this. I'm hearing good buzz around this event from it, but I don't know.
Shakedown Hawaii, it's the dudes that made Retro City Rampage. It's like the 16-bit spiritual successor.
Yeah.
It will hit Switch first in April. Pocket Rumble. Did you get to play that?
I watched it. This fighting game. It looked cool. It looked really, really cool.
Super simple 2-button fighting game. Kind of similar to like if Dive Kick had a baby with like Neo Geo Pocket games.
Yeah.
It's less simplified than Dive Kick, and it's not as like over the top corny parody.
Yeah.
It's more actual. It is a fighting game, but it looks really cool. I'm excited for that one. Console exclusive on Switch, coming out in March. So
all this stuff's super
any
cool,
day now.
or super cool and super close, I should say. I was actually saying super close. Most of it looks super cool, but the fact that it is also close is what's exciting, right? Because it was that concern of like, well, what's going to happen? And like now it's all right. So many of these are coming out between March and April. It's like, what are we going to get in May? Just get it to E3. Like, what are they going to say at E3?
Oh, yeah.
Is May going to be virtual console to get that up and running, get them people excited?
Yeah. We still have ARMS coming at some point
ARMS
in spring.
Yarms.
So you imagine that's
You like that? That's the
Probably
pirate
pushed to
version. That's
May.
the pirate DLC. Yarms. You can have that, Nintendo. Don't worry.
There's the next one, the most important one on the list, Wargroove. It's Advance Wars.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've heard you
Oh,
talking about the
man.
game that is Advance Wars, but I didn't know what it was. Wargroove.
There's local and online multiplayer turn-based strategy. It's coming to the Switch later this year. Supports 1 to 4 players. So far, it's also coming to PC, Switch, and Xbox One. The directors being kind of cagey about PS4. It sounds like there's some back-end deals that are in question, but they want it to be there. It literally is the spiritual successor
awesome.
to Advance Wars.
I love
And
Advance Wars.
It's cool. It's interesting that because it mixes Advance Wars with the aesthetic of Fire Emblem. Like it is a bit more fantasy-esque than I feel like they should be going just based on the trailer.
Yeah.
But it looks really cool, and Advance Wars is fucking the dopeness.
So what do you take away from all this?
This is awesome.
Yeah.
And then there's Stardew Valley, first to get multiplayer.
All right, Joey Noel, we get it. You're obsessed with
No,
Stardew
so but
Valley.
here's the thing with Stardew Valley is never played,
Yeah.
but everyone around me that's not one of us that just talk about video games all day is obsessed with this game.
Yeah.
And I haven't been on a flight where I haven't seen someone playing it on a laptop.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
People are just all about this.
That was the big backbreaker for Stardew Valley. It came to PS4 that first night. Colin was there. He interrupted me actually when I was playing it, but I sat down to play it or whatever, and then got distracted. And then big games started coming. It's like, well, eventually it'll come to Vita. They say maybe.
Well, it sounds like it is.
Sort
It
of.
sounds
Yeah,
like
and
it
then
is now.
I
Yeah.
know, but now it's coming to Switch. Like, all right, well, great.
Yeah. So, I mean, I think that's one of those things that's a huge deal to the people that care. It's not going to sell systems to play Stardew Valley.
Sure, but
like,
again, it's going to keep you happy if you're the
Yeah.
type who bought the Switch and you bought it on the promise of, like Colin, Zelda, and Mario.
Yeah.
You're like me, Mario Kart. How you doing?
And then in addition to those games, because those are the 17 they showed in the showcase, there was over 60 games. There's a little thing with a bunch of pictures of them, and that included Minecraft coming as well. A couple of notes are Towerfall Ascension coming to it, Oceanhorn. Monster
That was
of Uncharted
weird.
Seas.
Oceanhorn coming to Vita. It's like, yeah, awesome. Oceanhorn coming to Switch is like, we already have a Zelda on the go at all times. Like, more power to you. I thought Nintendo would sue your ass, not put you on your console, but great.
Thumper.
Oh, really? I
The
didn't see that. I missed
PSVR
that.
game, yeah, which is like that's kind of weird and super awesome. That game's great.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very like it is what it is and kind of shallow, just a rhythm game.
Sure.
But I had a lot of fun with it when I played it in VR. Playing it without VR might take away the coolness of it, but
Yeah.
I don't know. I'll definitely give it another shot because I like rhythm games. Duck Game. It seems like they're just getting all the Steam games that people do Let's Plays of.
Gotcha.
So that's cool. And then in addition to Duck Game, there was the Ultimate Chicken Horse. So that it's that type of game, right?
Well. Yeah. Well,
Tower Fall Ascension style, just fun multiplayer stuff, which is again going to be perfect on this thing.
that's the whole point of the Switch, right?
Toe Jam and Earl, Back in the Groove. Don't know much about this. It's some game that was kickstarted.
Yeah.
It was obviously Toe Jam and Earl. And what were your Toe Jam and Earl thoughts?
I like it. I thought that game was cool back in the day, and I think that they're making that new one. So it's I don't think it's going to resonate with many people. That studio did Doki Doki Universe, I think. I think that was their last game. So they need a hit.
I don't know if Toe Jam and Earl's going to be it.
Yeah, no.
Good, more power to them.
Yep.
Go for it. I always remember Toe Jam and Earl had the Gotta Get Genesis commercial that then they eventually started putting Spider-Man into it too. Yeah, that's what it was all about.
That's all I got.
Toe Jam and Earl Genesis.
Hollow Knight, which is, I'm looking forward to that game so goddamn much.
I don't know what it is.
It is.
Give me the
Kev,
lowdown.
Kev, pull up Hollow Knight on YouTube. It's a Metroidvania style game with beautiful art style. Like, it's that black and white. It's like art style wise, it's like if Cuphead and Limbo were like, yo, let's fuck.
Yeah.
And it looks really cool. I'm excited for it. It just came out on Steam a couple weeks ago, but I'm staying away from that. It's getting really good reviews. It was going to be coming to the Wii U, but now it's coming to Switch instead.
Fuck that Wii U. Fuck it into the dirt. Here we go. Here comes Hollow Knight. Kevin's bringing it over. Oh, okay.
It's too small for us to really see, but it does have that Cuphead aesthetic of like beautifully animated explosions and a lot of shit like that. So,
Kevin, after this, will you please play the movie Hollow Man with Kevin Bacon as well?
That was
Elizabeth
No
Shue.
longer on Netflix.
Oh, fucking Jesus.
And then Jackbox Party Pack 3, which again, it's just good that the Switch is also getting a lot of the games that should just be everywhere.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm thrilled with all of this stuff. Like, this is why these games speak to me. These are the type of things I like to play. And then plus the Nintendo AAA exclusives or AA exclusives or whatever they are. And then plus you add Virtual Console. And I'm super sold. I mean, I'm already sold in it, but like,
Obviously.
I'm happy. They're keeping me happy with it.
Yeah.
And that's good.
Yeah, for me, I want to see the rollout and how it comes. I want to know if there is going to be a date. I want to know where a Virtual Console is, but I continue to be happy.
Yeah. So I hope that they continue with this. And I just like that. If this showcase was any indication of how Nintendo is going to try to handle its presentations going forward and how it puts its information out there, I think that they're in good hands. Again, this goes back to I think that the presentation was too Japanese and like too centralized in how they used to do things instead of how things are done now.
Sure.
And this is how things are done now. This was the indie version of Sony's PlayStation E3 conference last year and the year before.
Oh, right. Here's
It's
games
just
and games and games and games. Yeah.
Games. And
Well, they should learn from this and do all their presentations here and not have Japan do anything anymore.
That's what I'm saying.
Especially releases of
I'm sure we're going to be talking about this a lot in the coming months, but I'm interested in what they do at E3.
Yeah.
Is it a conference? If it is a conference, who's on stage?
I don't think it'll be a conference.
You know?
I think it'll be direct. I think direct to directs. Showcases.
Whatever it is, a showcase, whatever. But okay, then who's in the showcase? Is it the
Big Reg.
Koizuma or whatever his name is?
Big Reg.
I hope it's Reggie. We haven't seen Reggie talk about the Switch in this style of video, right? Like we saw him talk in New York and stuff like that, and an elevator, yeah. Like he gave a little kind of intro to us before we played the games, but like we haven't seen him do one of his little, marketing things.
Yeah, now that I like the Switch, I say bring back the puppets. Give me another one where you're all Muppets. That was fun. Why not? I hated it at the time because I was like, just show me your games. And now,
but now you're like,
I already
bring
bought
on
the damn
Muppets?
thing. Just fucking bring out the Muppets. You remember these Muppets, Kev?
Yeah.
Kev never forgets a good Muppet.
Them good Muppets. Give me 1 second. I need to respond to an important text.
Colin, did you ever care about the Muppets? You don't strike me as you're ever a Grover kind of guy. The only one I ever cared was Big Bird. Oh, now I'm bringing them all together, aren't I? Muppets were the Kermit the Frog and all that.
Yeah, Grover's not a Muppet.
No, you're right. He's just another fucking shitty puppet.
I cared about him.
So you like Sesame Street? You're down with Sesame Street. The Muppets was a bridge too
I
far.
like Sesame Street a lot.
Oscar the Grouch was okay.
Yeah,
I didn't
he was
like
a
that
big
fucking.
inspiration for me.
I didn't like that dopey Snuffleupagus guy. All right, get out of here. Get out of here. Nobody, get off of here. You're some kind of weird. Well, and wasn't it Big Bird could only see him for a little while.
All right, fourth topic of the day, as always, brought to you by you. You can go to kindoffunny.com/gamescast topic, just like all these dudes, to get your question read. Starting off with, I am Russian. Russian is Rushin. So he's a quick dude. He's fast.
He's in a hurry, actually.
Yeah.
You don't know how fast he is.
No. You're right. You're right.
Kevin's always Russian.
Kevin is Russian. Does Nintendo get a pass? Yes, it's a very clickbaity question at a glance, but let me explain. Disclaimer, these are just my observations. I've never owned a Nintendo console and I've never played a Zelda game. Nothing personal, just haven't gotten around to it. Maybe someday. Breath of the Wild is currently sitting at a 98 on Metacritic, with virtually every major outlet giving it a perfect or near perfect score. By all accounts, this game is great. I'm not trying to dispute that, but I also know that I've heard many a handful of people in the industry praise Skyward Sword or Twilight Princess, and yet those games respectively have a 93 and 95 on Metacritic. So my question and/or discussion topic is this: do big Nintendo franchises have a tendency to draw out higher scores from reviewers based based on virtually every game's quote journalist having some kind of childhood nostalgia for Nintendo. Again, I'm not saying Skyward Sword or Breath of the Wild is anything other than great, but looking from the sidelines, it certainly seems like Nintendo gets reviewed in a vacuum and praised for features that have been a staple in the industry for 5+ years sometimes.
No, it's a great point and a great question, because that was the big thing, right? When these scores start rolling in and it's getting 10s, it's getting this stuff. Now, granted, we were playing it and I was enjoying it. It was like, oh man, but I do remember when this happened with Skyward Sword. I remember when IGN gave it a 10, right? Didn't we at the time? I remember when I took that copy home and popped in and I was like, oof, no, I don't. I played a couple hours, like no. And I want to like this Zelda, and I couldn't like that Zelda. And somebody had hit me up on Twitter and said, if this wasn't Zelda, if this was new IP, you know what I mean? Last Fighter Man or some shit like that, would it be as well received? And it's a great question, because I do think it does get a pass in a lot of ways of, sure, why are the controls like this? Why is the jump down? I can put it up there, sure. But even then, why, like, you know, Andy Cortez from Rooster Teeth tweeted out of like, but what if we could click in the stick and run, guys? What if we could click in the stick? And it happens to me all the time, where we've been playing games for so long in this style where it's like, oh fuck, an enemy pops up and I hit fucking R3 to run, he crouches and it gets killed. I'm like, motherfucker, like, you know what I mean? Like, god damn it.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do this because there's no way to just objectively review games. By definition, it's opinion, and I think that you bring in your own thoughts into all of that. And when it comes down to it, you have to review Zelda as a Zelda game, not just as another video game. Yeah. Because that is what it is, and you're comparing it to all these other games and stuff. And I feel like Nintendo does get the bump, and I think a lot of it is because of the nostalgia and stuff. And I think that's because people want Nintendo to succeed, because Nintendo does have the magic about them that they put into their games. So you do kind of like forgive a lot of the issues. I don't like the controls in Zelda. I've said it a million times. And of course there's fanboys that get upset at people being critical of things that they love. That's the internet. That's life.
Yeah.
But I don't think that takes away from the greatness of the game. And like, to me, it would be a 10 or whatever. When you bring Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess and all that into it, it gets complicated, because yeah, you're right. Like, in my opinion, Skyward Sword, not a 10. Yeah. But is it a 9? Is it an 8.5? Like, okay, IGN gave it a 10. And even at the time, I was like, fuck that. And I worked there. Yeah. But like, again, it's one dude.
Yeah, of course.
But again, like, even Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, they have so much good about them that they do. I mean, they really do. Whether it's the dungeon design or the boss fights or whatever, they like Twilight Princess in particular. Horrible tutorial, horrible, but so much other good things about the game. I'm like, well, these are fantastic. But then where does that come down to in it's getting bonus points because it's Zelda. It's like, okay, well, it's also getting points because it has all these good things, but then it's getting minus points because there are fundamental flaws when you compare it to the other games. Yeah. But I feel like other games then at the same time get bonus points for being a new IP. And, you know, it's like, oh, well, we're going to think of this and give it the bonus points of, man, it's something new. It's not Zelda. So I think it goes in every way. I think Nintendo is more so than any other developer or publisher in the industry. They get more bonus points than anyone else. But I think that it's for a reason. And I also think that they are the first company to get torn down when they do something wrong. So, yeah.
Colin.
Yeah, I think Nintendo clearly deals with a super pro bias in the gaming industry and has since I joined it. If pretty much ubiquitously, with the exception of the game, I mean, as far as the games I played, the exception of maybe Super Mario Galaxy, would have been scored probably a full point or 2 points or even lower on Metacritic if they were not on Nintendo platforms, not made by Nintendo. I think Zelda is the great example of that. Twilight Princess is in no way, shape, or form a 95, and Skyward Sword is in no way, shape, or form a 92. And I don't believe for 1 second that this game is any way, shape, or form a 98. So I think that they do get a pass, and that's what I was saying. I was like, wow, it was nice playing a game. Welcome to 2008. You know, in terms of just my initial impressions of Zelda, I'm like, what is it? And I think it's so obvious. If this wasn't a Switch game and this wasn't a Zelda game, no way would it get 10s. I think that's obvious. It's, you know, people can look at that as anti-Nintendo bias, but I think that there's a strong pro-Nintendo bias in the industry. And I think it has something to do with what you said, which is that people grew up with Nintendo and root for them in a way. And really, you know, I think there's some critics, some journalists that do as much as they can to try to sell games for Nintendo. And so I think it's kind of shitty. And I agree with his insertion that the last time there was a Zelda game that was truly revolutionary was Ocarina of Time. Now, my favorite Zelda game is Majora's Mask, but it wasn't revolutionary. Ocarina of Time was revolutionary, just like Mario 64 in its own way was revolutionary. And Super Mario Galaxy really did something to 3D Mario and made it revolutionary in its own way. But Nintendo's given way too much credit for making these amazing revolutionary games. Like if Splatoon was on PlayStation, no one would give a fuck about it. And you know, if Splatoon was on PlayStation, Xbox One, would sold 100,000 copies probably, because Nintendo made a third-person team shooter that you play online. Suddenly, it's this revolution. You know, and I'm a little tired of it personally. I wish that I really knew how people felt about Zelda and how good. I wish there was some sort of objective way to be like, what is the Zelda game? It's not 98. So what? And I can tell you that from playing for a couple hours. No way in God's green earth. So how, what is it? And how would it be scored if it was on a PlayStation? I think it's a great question. And they're the only company that enjoys that, I think.
Second question comes from Layman Else. Recently, I realized I think I genuinely have a bit of a crush on Yennefer from Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Yennefer. Have you ever got the feels for a video game character?
No. Although I've found them attractive in the past. I really
Madison
wanted
Page.
Miranda in Mass Effect.
Who?
Madison Page, Heavy Rain. I was like, yeah, Madison Page, you're cool. I like you.
Okay.
Oh, I can sex you up? Okay. That
Yeah.
happened. Sorry.
Yeah.
But it was Ethan doing it. You know what I mean? He had been through a lot. He deserved it.
Yeah, I've never had a crush on a video game character.
Bullshit.
Not a crush, but I've been attracted to him.
Sure,
Thought
yeah,
they're
of
hot.
course.
Riku from Final Fantasy X comes to mind.
Yeah. Okay.
Big fan.
Is she the one in the bikini? The yellow bikini top?
Yellow Bikini Top and X2, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. The Midnight Kid. Hey, Greg, Tim, and Colin. My question stems from Colin's stellar and recent. Colin was right about physical versus digital games. I was wondering about the viability of game publishers adopting a method more like Blu-rays, where the purchase of a physical copy may also provide you with a digital copy. For myself, the idea of buying a physical game to play while also having the option to have a digital code in case something happened to the disc, I think may help keep physical copies around longer, but I'm no expert at these sort of things. Thanks for all the content you guys make. You put smiles on more faces than you could fathom. I wish they would. From my understanding, from things you guys have said, it sounds like there's not just a copy and paste button where people can make codes, and there is some weird ramification to getting
you get
out
a limited
codes.
number of codes and all these different things. And I think the one here is, and I'm speaking without understanding how the Blu-ray, Ultra HD, all that crap, those combo packs do it, and even how comics really do it as well, because comics have a similar thing. Some comics, I think the problem here you run into is the resellers market, where it's like, all right, he wants it in case something happens to the disc. Okay, well, what if, though, you can only use the digital code if you have the disc in your system? What's keeping you from redeeming the code and selling the disc to your friend, or vice versa? That's the issue I think you run into where it needs to get at, and so then it just becomes a complicated future. Not to mention that really we're just playing we're waiting game of inevitability, right? Where what this comes down to is the fact that this is going to happen, and I understand. We talk about this all the time, the digital future, and wanting the games to go all digital. And inevitably, it's people from the middle of the country, from other countries that just don't have internet that can hold up with this. I have this many gigabytes, GBs as my cap. We only get these number of speeds. I get that, but we're every day tumbling towards not having that, and have 5G Wi-Fi be everywhere and just beaming it to you. That was the most exciting thing I ever had, revelation, talking to our friend who works at Apple, and not at all on the tech side, but he's like, the phones aren't going to matter. 4G and LTE, none of that crap's going to matter. Eventually, we're getting to the point where it's just going to be Wi-Fi everywhere. It's going to be Wi-Fi whatever in like that. I'm like, holy shit! If to do away with cables and to just be able to do it that way and have awesome systems that work that way, great. So it's one of those do you really want to jump in and invest your time in this thing to find the solution that is a problem for a very small group of people? Inevitably you're going to get to people, whether it's you buy your Switch came on day one and Zelda didn't. So you wanted that hard copy, but you want to play Zelda now, so you download it and you go, that was easy. And that's it. It's little things, right? That starts. The more and more great games are smaller games that are only coming out digitally. Granted, limited runs that doing their thing, but you're getting it that way where it's how is that going to actually work?
I think a big problem going into it too is the difference between games and movies is games generally cost more to buy individually. And then how many times have I seen people give away their digital code of movies because they have the disc and they're not going to use the digital one? That could definitely create a piracy issue when the codes are just being given away, because you're essentially getting 2 for 1. So they would need to figure out a real solution for that, which gets hard. I mean, obviously PC games have been doing it for years, but there's a lot of piracy on PC games as well.
Yeah.
I think it's different just in the sense that games are more expensive typically, and the Blu-ray market is pretty much dead compared to the gaming market. So I think that's them saying just buy and you can get it digital. But on the other end, retail sales are lowering, but if a game sells 10 million, a AAA game says, Horizon's slated to sell 8 million copies, and I'm sure 6 million plus are retail. There's no need for them to draw you in. I think that the codes are necessarily put in there to stymie the complete death of physical media in movies, which I think is right around the corner, frankly. So I think it's just a different kind of scenario. Both of them are dying, or both of them have a death sentence. And I think that the Blu-ray is just closer. So that's a way for them to keep everyone involved, because streaming is so prominent and prolific now.
16 Bits of Awesome says, do you think the Nintendo Switch will have a half-generation upgrade, much like the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One S, or even the DS to the DSi? Given the nature of the console, what would a half-gen upgrade even look like? Definitely.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, my knee-jerk would have been no, just based on the fact that Nintendo's never seemed to really give a shit about their tech, but then this DSi thing.
Well, Nintendo's always done it. I mean, on the handheld side, which again,
well, but this is their console. Don't forget,
but
Timmy.
But it's also their handheld.
Sure.
So I mean, they've done it forever with DS, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, which then went to Game Boy Color after 10 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll definitely see one. What it looks like. I mean, Nintendo's always done weird shit with their handhelds, limiting what can be done on each system. So like when we got to the DS, there's a DSi, DS Lite. I think that's what the third one was called. It might have been the other order. Like there were certain games only playable on the newer versions, and the Game Boy Color, obviously the same thing as in that case. And then with the 3DS, there's the new 3DS, which some games are only playable with it, and some games, even though they're not marketed that way, are only playable with it, in the case of like Hyrule Warriors. So I definitely think that they will. What it looks like, I hope it has bigger buttons.
You and these buttons, man.
I don't know. I can see them doing one with the 1080 screen and that type of stuff.
Thinner. It'll be thinner for sure. Everything's thinner.
Yeah, thin's good. But it still needs to be compatible with the Joy-Cons, so it can't be too much thinner.
I mean, I would say a hard no. That just doesn't seem like something Nintendo would do. They did it with DSi. I bought it day one for some reason, and they didn't really seem to take advantage of it. It seems to be antithetical to everything they do now. I also don't think Switch is going to sell well enough to demand that either. So I think that would be a mistake for them to do that. There's what the fuck is the company called? Super Data or whatever. The guys that are always churning out information or projections have only 5 million Switches for the first year, which is bad. So I just don't think that there's going to be demand for an upgrade, because I think that if you're getting involved in the Switch, you know that it's not going to have power, and that's kind of something you accept.
And that's what I think. Yeah, I mean, leaning back to what I was saying is Nintendo, I don't think will care about the power, and I don't think third parties are going to be like, well, we would have brought Mass Effect Andromeda over, but we won't because it doesn't have it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even necessarily think it'll have more power. I don't necessarily think it'll have more power. I just think that just the resolution of the screen, so it can just match what it outputs to on TVs.
Who the fuck cares?
I mean, but it's just another. Who cares about the XL compared to the 3DS? Like it's those little things.
3DS was ugly. XL was beautiful.
I mean, it wasn't. The XL screen looked like shit because it didn't have the resolution.
Well, it just looked like shit because it's a 3DS.
Well, that is
not like that Vita that looked beautiful. OLED, LED, it didn't matter. It was beautiful.
Yeah, some more beautiful than others.
Yeah, that's right. Freedom Wars, what up?
But I definitely think they're going to, and I think that Nintendo's been historically they've always had special edition consoles, and a lot of their fan base does buy multiple iterations of the console they already own. Like I've seen people with like 5 or 6 3DSs just because they wanted the Fire Emblem one and the Pokemon one and Zelda one and all that shit. I think that with the Joy-Cons, they have a unique situation to do that type of stuff for cheaper. But
thanks for bringing some.
I think that they might.
Yeah.
There's definitely going to be like special edition Switches at some point. I think sooner than later, and I think that they will start to have the new Switch or whatever the fuck. Switch
I better
XL,
figure out how to
Switch
get my
Pro.
fucking saves off it if they want me to buy a special edition.
That stuff will be figured out.
It better be.
Yeah, it will.
I'm telling
be.
you, Tim.
It will be.
Tell Mr.
Only
Nintendo.
on the Pro, the Switch Pro, Switch XL Pro. Anyway, that's it. Leave your questions here next week. Until next time, I love you. What's up, beautiful? You're still here? Well, thanks for that. You can subscribe to youtube.com/kindafunny right there. Or you can subscribe to youtube.com/kindafunnygames right there. Or you can subscribe to us on Patreon and give us money and help my dreams come true right here. Love you.